Lost Tales. Ancient Goddess Ishtar. Ishtar or Inanna, one of the original female deities of the Mesopotamian pantheon. She was the goddess of love and war, known as the Queen of Heaven. In the previous video we delved into her introduction, the link between Ishtar and Inanna, her family, details related to her worship, and symbols and icons related to her. In this video let us look at the famous myths of Ishtar, Inanna and Enki. It is a lengthy poem written in Sumerian, which may date to the 3rd dynasty of Ur, 2112 BC to 2004 BC. It tells the story of how Inanna stole the sacred May from Enki, the god of water and human culture. In ancient Sumerian mythology, the May were sacred powers or properties belonging to the gods that allowed human civilization to exist. Each May embodied one specific aspect of human culture such as truth, victory, writing, law, etc. In the myth, Inanna travels from her own city of Uruk to Enki's city of Eridu, where she visits his temple, the Iabzu. Inanna is greeted by Enki's suckle, Isimud, also known as Uzumu. Inanna starts up a drinking competition with Enki. Then, once Enki is thoroughly intoxicated, Inanna persuades him to give her the May. Inanna flees from Eridu, in the boat of heaven, taking the May back with her to Uruk. Enki wakes up to discover that the May are gone and asks Isimud what has happened to them. Isimud replies that Enki has given all of them to Inanna. Enki becomes infuriated and sends multiple sets of fierce monsters after Inanna to take back the May before she reaches the city of Uruk. Inanna's suckle, Ninshur, fends off all the monsters that Enki sends after them. Through Ninshur's aid, Inanna successfully manages to take the May back with her to the city of Uruk. After Inanna escapes, Enki reconciles with her and bids her a positive farewell. It is possible that this legend may represent a historic transfer of power from the city of Eridu to the city of Uruk. It is also possible that this legend may be a symbolic representation of Inanna's maturity and her readiness to become the Queen of Heaven. Our second myth is Inanna takes command of heaven. The poem Inanna Takes Command of Heaven is an extremely fragmentary, but important account, of Inanna's conquest of the Athena temple in Uruk. It begins with a conversation between Inanna and her brother, Utu, in which Inanna laments that the Athena temple is with their father, An, and is not within their domain, and resolves to claim it as her own. The text then describes her difficult passage through a marshland, to reach the temple. Ultimately, Inanna reaches her father, An, who is shocked by her arrogance, but nevertheless concedes that she has succeeded, and that the temple is now her domain. The text ends with a hymn expounding Inanna's greatness. This myth may represent an eclipse in the authority of the priests of Uruk and a transfer of power to the priests of Inanna. Next myth is Epic of Gilgamesh. The Epic of Gilgamesh is one of the world's earliest known works of epic literature, surviving in numerous versions. The story tells of the journey of the young hero Gilgamesh, semi-divine king of the city of Uruk. In the Akkadian Epic of Gilgamesh, Ishtar appears to Gilgamesh after he and his companion Enkidu have returned to Uruk, from defeating the ogre, Humbaba, and demands Gilgamesh to become her consort. Gilgamesh refuses her, pointing out that all her previous lovers have suffered. Infuriated by Gilgamesh's refusal, Ishtar goes to heaven and tells her father Anu that Gilgamesh has insulted her. Ishtar demands that Anu give her the bull of heaven. Her plan is to use the mighty bovine warrior to seek revenge on Gilgamesh. When Anu eventually agrees, Ishtar leads the bull back to Earth. The cosmic bull battles against Gilgamesh and his companion, Enkidu. The two heroes kill the great beast, and Ishtar mourns over its body with the women of the city. Our last myth is Ishtar's descent to the Netherworld. The myth of Ishtar's descent to the Netherworld tells the story of the goddess's journey to the underworld, the home of her sister, Ereshkigal. While numerous reasons have been suggested for Ishtar's journey, it seems most likely that she is motivated by the ambitious desire to increase her own powers. The goddess travels through the 7 gates of the underworld, removing an item of clothing at each gate. Ishtar finally arrives naked before her sister, Ereshkigal, who is the queen of the Netherworld, and is killed. With the assistance of her faithful companion, Ninshur, Ishtar is revived through the clever plotting of the god of wisdom, Enki. Ishtar's place in the underworld cannot be left empty, and the deity rises along with a group of demons to search for a replacement. Following a long search, her consort, Tammuz, is sent to the underworld in her place. Now let us look at the influence of Ishtar on other goddesses. Scholars in comparative religion have realized that patterns can be transmitted over long distances and time frames from religion to religion, without the worshippers being aware that what they worship is just a reformulation, in their own cultural vocabulary, of a much older or foreign pattern. Likewise, the cult of Ishtar also may have influenced the images and cults of many later goddesses. There are many other instances of goddesses that fit the same profile as Inanna or Ishtar in terms of artistic and literary portrayals. Some of these goddesses are: first is Astarte. The West Semitic goddess Astarte or Astareth, a near duplicate of Ishtar referred to abundantly in the Bible, was worshipped in the ancient Levant among the Canaanites and Phoenicians. Like Ishtar, Astarte was connected with fertility, sexuality, and war. Second is the Greek goddess Aphrodite. Aphrodite took on Ishtar's associations with sexuality and procreation. Furthermore, she was known as Urania, which means heavenly, a title corresponding to Ishtar's role as the Queen of Heaven. Aphrodite was also a warrior goddess. The myth of Aphrodite and Adonis is derived from the story of Inanna and Dumuzid. Third is Athena. The Greek goddess Athena, often represented helmeted, and holding a javelin and shield, also frequently associated with Ishtar. And last is Durga. Hindu goddess Durga have all the attributes of Ishtar. Female form, helmet, weapons, riding on a wild beast. Even some of the weapons like bow and mace are same. While the goddesses Ishtar influenced or gave rise to are still well known, Ishtar, comparatively, has not enjoyed similar longevity to her image. From being among the most powerful of ancient Mesopotamian deities, she has fallen into almost complete obscurity. Ishtar's slide into modern-day anonymity likely resulted from a variety of causes, but can be most plausibly connected to the disappearance of the cuneiform writing system. Queen of Heaven, a powerful goddess. This was the story of Ishtar. Lost Tales.